I have no idea.
Okay, Hangout Era is live. Okay, yay! Okay. Oh, seriously, sorry. I should have gotten ready for the day. Definitely didn't with my 15-month-old son. We had a crazy day, and Dad was at school, and so we just hung out, and Mom didn't even put makeup on.
No, I didn't either. I babysat this morning, and then my daughter was up all night last night, so I showered till like 4 p.m.
That was me, and so my hair is a wreck, even worse than normal, I feel like. Oh, sheesh. Okay, so let's get going over this stuff, because I've been on here for like an hour already trying to figure it out. Okay, so what was the challenging about this activity? Like I said a little bit earlier, I thought it was just challenging for me because it was almost like a reality check. I didn't think it was hard to like read the material or anything. I just realized there's a lot more I need to be doing, more than I already am doing, and that was kind of, I mean, it's never an easy thing. You're like, hey, you're slacking, pick it up. So for me, that was kind of the most challenging part, I think.
I think for this activity, for us, I think the most difficult part was just communicating with our group members.
That too.
Because I don't, like, I think I posted like Monday or Tuesday and no one responded until last night. And I'm like, oh, things in advance. I have to plan. We have babies.
I know.
Time to like.
And that was, I wrote it in my planner on Tuesday, and I got on and I was like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I just didn't scroll down far enough for the group part till Wednesday. And I was like, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I too.
But you're on top of it. You're obviously here. So
I'm trying to be. I need to get good grades. I got to keep my scholarship as a mom. It's like what gets me through so I don't have to work.
Me too.
Yeah.
You get it. Okay. Let me just. So, sorry. I have no idea where the questions are. There they are. Okay. So, how well do you think the average young adult understands adopting a family? I did the Penzu journal on this because I didn't know that we were supposed to. Are we supposed to? I don't know.
I don't actually know when I was supposed to start that or not, so I didn't.
Okay, so I think you have something due for it on tomorrow.
Saturday, yeah. Okay, I just don't have it done tonight. So
yeah, no, you're fine. So I wrote the answers in my Penzu.
Perfect.
Basically, I think, so for the question about the young adults, I don't think that young adults are average in the world. You're fine if you need to grab her. I totally get it.
Sorry.
Him.
Yes.
I do.
Him. Can you say hi? She's in Mama's class. Can you say hi?
Hi. Wow, you're such a flirt. You giving me smiles?
Mm-hmm. He is. They will be blowing you kisses within like 30 seconds. He keeps looking at my headphones like, Mom, I can't hear anything. Who are you talking to? Don't push my buttons. Don't push my buttons, please.
Oh, that's funny.
No, that's Mom.
For me, I think average depends on like the definition of average. If we're talking about average people as in average LDS people, I think they have a better idea than obviously the people outside of the church.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But at the same time, I don't feel like I really had any depth of knowledge of marriage and family until I was actually married. And then even now, I feel like I've just like skimmed the surface, whereas before I just kind of felt like I was jet skiing on top of it, you know?
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that was something else that I was thinking about because, like, I mean, in the church and out of the church, I think we've just become, as youth, a lot of us are so complacent. Like, we know marriage is something that we're supposed to get around to eventually.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, for me, I never had, like, I always knew I was going to get married. I was going to have a family. That's just what I was supposed to do. And so, but, like, it's so funny because I have some friends in the church and out. Both of them are like, I'm not getting married till I'm like 35 and I only want 2 kids. Like, I hate how it, like, makes women look. I think it takes away from your marriage and all this stuff. And I'm going, like, no.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like before you're married, you live on a different playing field. Like,
yeah.
You can be so much more selfish with your time, with your money, with everything. And so when you get married, there's like this reality check, like, every decision that I make, from what I eat to what I wear, is like dependent on other people.
Yeah.
And once you have a baby that like steps up that, like,
Yeah.
so much more. Even my sleep is dictated by another person now. And so I don't know. It's just like,
Yeah.
without marriage and family, we can't progress as much as we can when we have those things, because we can't possibly understand the selflessness that it takes to become a good member of the church until we have these kinds of responsibilities.
Yeah, I agree. And I think something else that, like, talking about just the youth of the church, you know, everybody talks about this, like they want that fairy tale marriage. And it's great. And it can be great, but it sucks sometimes. Like, marriage doesn't suck.
Yeah.
But like sometimes it's really hard. And sometimes you have to bite your tongue when you don't want to. And sometimes you are up at 4 a.m. with a baby who's screaming in your ear and you only got 45 minutes of sleep. You know, like, it's a reality check, like you said, and it's hard. And I don't think as youth in the church or out of the church, I don't think we quite see that. I think a lot of the doctrines of the family are hidden by parents because they don't want their kids to see the imperfections of marriage. They don't want to see, you know, they don't talk to their kids about money. They don't talk to them about, like, how many children they think they should have in the family. You know, those are decisions that parents keep to themselves, which I think actually hinders our ability as youth to, like, manage getting married well.
Yeah, and I think too, just kind of the messages of the world right now are that that it's not important.
Sorry, he's going to bed.
No, you're fine. I just think it's not important for the world. So those sacrifices, since they're not important in our culture, they become so much more difficult because you don't have support from people. Like,
yeah, I agree.
At all. People are like,
Yeah.
oh, you're going to get a mom body. Oh, you're going to look bad. You're never going to have time for anything but your family anymore. And you're like, well, that's kind of the point.
And, like, you think about it in school even. I have so many people who, like, my husband's in his master's and I'm just about to finish my bachelor's. He's like, I have so many people who are like, why do you have a kid already? Like, why didn't you finish school first? It's almost like they look down on it. And when I'm like, yeah, well, I have to have some friends help, like, twice a week to babysit my kid.
Yeah.
They're like, well, that's bad. Like, you can't do that. Like, if you're going to be a mom, you need to be a mom. And I'm going, you send your kids to daycare every day for 8 hours. Like,
yeah,
I'm not following you on this. But it's like, I really do see that. And I think because people don't understand, I think the importance of it and how much it can really give to your life, like, I think they do downplay the importance of it. And it gives them an opportunity to like chastise someone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's any reason to judge another person is kind of like the way the world is right now. Any reason.
Yeah.
At all.
Yep. Any way to take the focus off of you, I think is what it is. So
okay. The other question was, why do you think it's important that we study the doctrine of the family at the beginning of the semester as opposed to the end? And I think, have you heard Elder Bednar's theory on, like, doctrines, principles, and applications? I'm sure.
I think I actually read that one last semester. I think so. I think I did read it recently, though.
So basically, he says that the principles and applications of the gospel, like, the applications would be things like how often you pay your tithing, or what time you get to church at. But the principles are like, you should attend church and you should pay your tithing. And then the doctrine's just like the background for it. Yeah. And Elder Bednar says that if you don't understand the doctrine, then the principles and the applications aren't going to be the way that Heavenly Father would have you have them, pretty much. So I think that's kind of what she's trying to get at, is that just because if we understand the doctrine, then we can change our principles and applications throughout the rest of the.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think if you don't understand, I mean, there are so many doctrines in the church that are like, I will never. I just, like, I pray and pray that someday God will bless me with that intellect of the deep doctrine. I'm not that person. I'm very, like, I want to know the basics and I'm good. And I think that if we don't even try to learn, like, I just forgot the word. What's the D word we're talking about?
Doctrine.
The doctrines. Thank you. I was like, if we don't even try to understand the doctrine, then we're not even trying to build a foundation. And it's just like everything else. If we don't have a foundation, any knowledge we gain is great, but it's just stuff. It's not applicable to our life. There's nothing to build upon. And if you're not building on something, we're going to be like that house on the sand that just, like, floats on yonder down the river. And that's everything about Christ. I mean, he started at the beginning. There's a foundation to the earth. There's a foundation to a family. There's a foundation to his gospel. There's a foundation to everything. And all of it is based on the doctrine that he's given us. And so I think that that's just, like you said, I mean, you can't change if you don't know what you're supposed to be working on. So.
Yeah. And then, so the next question, sorry.
You're okay.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. What doctrine or principle, if understood, would motivate Latter-day Saints to advocate for the family? And I think I had a good answer for this. You can answer first, though, because I've been answering.
You're okay. I've got to find mine real quick. I wrote this one down. Let me. Okay, for this one, I guess, okay, so in Sister Beck's Teachings, the Doctrine of the Family, the biggest principle that I guess for me I found was that we have to live by example and that we learn by example. So example is my principle. But she says, live in your home so that you're brilliant in the basics, so that you're intentional in your roles and responsibilities in the family. Think in terms of precision, not perfection. If you have your goals and you are precise in how you go about them in your home, youth will learn from you. They will learn that you pray, study the scriptures together, have family home evening, make a priority of meal times, and speak respectfully of your marriage. Then from your example, the rising generation will gain great hope. And there's a part in hers where she talks about how Gordon B. Hinckley, I don't remember who it was, but how we talked about you won't see change in a day or even in a year, but you'll see it in a generation, and then you'll see miracles in the next generation. I think for me, like that principle, I mean, Christ was our example. Like, no, he did not get married here, but his whole life is a principle, and I'm pretty certain he has a wife in the next world. I think
so. I actually took a Foundations World class last semester, and they talked about this. And a lot of biblical scholars believe that he did get married, actually, while he was here. But that it's
really? I don't really know. That's something else. I'm like, well, I just know he lived the perfect life, so I should try to do the same, plus get married. That's just how I always thought about it.
So, and I think there's reasons that they don't mention their wives, like, you know how we have a heavenly mother and they're not mentioned in the scriptures. And what I've been told is basically that they're so sacred to Christ and God that they don't want their names to be defiled. You know how people use the name of God and Jesus in vain all the time?
That makes sense.
So basically, I've heard, this is what I've heard, that they just don't mention them as much because they don't want their names to be defiled. So.
That makes sense. If they're not mentioned, then there's not a way for the world to use it against them.
Yeah,
that makes
or
sense.
Yeah. So, but that's obviously just conjecture. It's not written anywhere. So.
Well, I like it. I'll believe you, I promise. But yeah, so anyways, that was just my principle, is like to live by example. Because I think that really how we just talked about the doctrines and our foundation and like building up and changing, like it'll probably take us, like you can change, like just decide today to say your prayers, and that's a change that you can make in a day. But like the change of making an eternal marriage like a priority and a mentality from a young age, that's a generational change that's going to have to occur.
That's definitely true. And I think too, when you change yourself, even in the little things like prayer, then it changes your children. Because for me, my parents didn't pray. Like I didn't have LDS parents growing up. Mm-hmm. Technically my mom is, but not active. Yeah. But so it was so like the little things like tithing and praying and fasting and stuff. When you have parents who do that, it just comes second nature to you. But
that's
for me,
I
have to work at it. And so I feel like even the little things, when you see your parents doing them and when they're faithful at them, then it gives you a foundation and it makes those things easy for you. Like if your parents have a clean house, it's going to be easier for you to keep a clean house because you know how it works.
That was not my house growing up.
Me neither. And so it's been really rough for me trying to figure out how I can keep a clean house when I never had that example growing up. And so I think it's the same way with faith and prayer and scripture study and things like that, and making those things a priority. So
that makes sense.
So for me, I think what I got out of it, I wrote down that if the if they understood that the family is the entire reason that we are here on earth and that it is our sole purpose and our most important work, that then people would start to advocate for the family.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's ever going to understand how important it is. I obviously don't understand because I'm not perfect at it. I think if we really did completely, truly understand the importance of our families and the connections that we make in our temple work to connect ourselves with our past relatives, then we would obviously, if we understood it, we would do it. We would be better.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's something I remember sitting in the temple, I think like a few months after I got married, and my husband was like, isn't this great that we're sealing people to God's family? And I was like, what? We're sealing them to their mom and dad. Like, I guess for me, it never really clicked that like when I was sealed to my husband, we were sealed to more than just my parents. Like we were sealed to Heavenly Father's whole family. And to me, that was like, whoa! Like, it was the craziest thing I'd ever heard, because it was just so like, I didn't get how vast and how important like one simple sealing could be. Because I mean, if I don't get sealed to my husband, then the next 12 generations could miss out on an eternity because Grandma Hanson was so selfish as to want a popsicle instead of to go to church. You know, like, like that's just really what it could be. Like, I guess I just never quite understood how important a temple sealing was. Like, I knew that it was important because I wanted to be with my sweetheart for forever. I just didn't understand that that was what linked me to God's eternal family.
Yeah.
So,
and they've talked a lot too about like how in the millennium all we'll be doing basically is temple work. We'll be baptizing people so that they can be part of that. And I feel like, so for so many people, there's going to be like, I don't know how it's going to work, because there are going to be unfaithful people that will break the link, you know?
Yeah.
But because there's got to be a link directly back to our Heavenly Father, like directly back to Adam. And so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. So
yeah. Well, and I think that's part of like I guess I wish we talked about our patriarchal blessings more, but like when we're in a house or all those, I just totally forgot all the 12 tribes of Israel, you know, but like, I always thought that was amazing because it tells you which tribe you're from, and they're all there now. And like those temple ceilings, I think that, and this is something I've actually been thinking about a lot. Like when we're sealed, I think that that's part of how we're tied to Christ, is through that lineage that we're granted or given the knowledge of in our patriarchal blessings. Like there might be someone who chooses to go, but there will always be a way for our link to return to Christ and to return to Adam and Eve. Like it'll always be there. That's something I'm leaving up to the smarter people in the millennium. I don't know how it works, and I hope not to be a bookkeeper, but that's like, it'll work out. And I think that's something that we don't. Yeah, I just think that's something you don't think about a lot, is I guess how crucial the family is as a link. Because without that, I think it was Sister Beck when she was talking about how, you know, without the family, there's like, what's your purpose? Like you're not living your purpose. You're not being a half to a whole. You're just being nothing.
Yeah.
Really. So I don't like being nothing. That doesn't sound exciting to me. So.
No, it doesn't sound good. No.
Okay.
But I think too, like our family totally gives us purpose. You know.
Yeah.
Before even we had our baby, I felt like we just kind of, my husband and I would hang out and watch Netflix, and that was like the best thing ever. But it was just kind of not as.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like life has gotten 100 times more intense now that we have a baby. Having children just has kind of like stepped it up to a huge level where I'm like, I'm busy constantly now. I used to have like so much free time that it was ridiculous, and now it's just like constant having to do something, no matter what. And sometimes I decide that I'm just not going to do anything, and nothing's done, and it just like falls apart. But I'm like, especially with school now, it's just like every second of every day I have something that I need to be doing constantly.
Yeah, and I'll be grateful when school is over, because it's like I love being a mom. And 15 months, oh, just wait. Like my son, we call him Tank, is his nickname. He's crazy. Like, but he's so fun, and he's learning to talk, and he's learning to run and crawls on everything. And I left the room the other day, and I came back in, and he was dancing on my kitchen table. Like, talk about a heart attack, but like, he's so fun. And having to sit down and focus on school, I have to do it during nap times and when he's asleep because he just wants mom. And it's like, it's so fun, but I can't wait. I can't wait to be done so I can feel, because like with school, I don't feel like I'm the best mom ever. I have to take away time from Tiancum to learn, which is good. I need to learn for my progression, but I've always felt like I needed to be a mom. And so that's what I'm like, okay, I just need to be done so I can not feel like a bad mom when I have to take a test for 2 hours instead of play blocks and read books, you know? So
I'm with you. It's hard. Like, I'm lucky because my husband can watch her for me while I'm at school. But then there's times like during the night I have like 2 hours of homework, 2 to 3 sometimes, and it's just so frustrating because I'm like, I could be doing stuff that would be affecting eternity. Like, and instead, I guess this technically does, graduating is affecting my life and stuff, but
well, and what we learn helps us as moms. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, but my son's so much cuter than a textbook.
So much more fun. Yeah, seriously.
So, but yes. Okay. Well, I think. Do we have anything else we need to do?
No. So, how do we do this end part?
Okay. So I'll stop the broadcast and I'll post the link. Did you say that you already have this all like typed up?
No. How do you? Oh, like the
answers and stuff.
I have my answers, but I can just summarize both of our answers. I'll do the summary.
Will you do that and I'll post this and then you can just reply as like a comment with our summary to where I post this?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll go do that right now then so you can post it. Thanks for doing this summary. I appreciate it. Where do you live?
I'm in Rexburg right now.
Okay. All right, cool.
What's your major?
Mine is family and marriage studies.
Okay, awesome.
What are you?
I'm child development.
Cool. I almost did that as my minor, and then I realized I had like 2 classes I couldn't take online, and then I live in Texas, so I'm not coming back to Rexburg for 2 classes. So.
Yeah. I really wish that they could put more child online. It would be so nice.
Well, I really am 2 classes away from my minor, so it was like, doink.
That sucks.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 classes away from 4 different minors, and none of them I can finish online, so whatever.
Yeah. I hope BYU, well, I think right now it's just because BYU Idaho is so small in comparison to Provo.
Yeah.
That they don't have the ability to have all those teachers for online or something. I don't know. But it's
I don't know either. It is a bummer. Okay, cool. Well, I posted on the thing to see if everybody would post what. Do we need to meet on Thursday, or was that just the best day we were shooting for this week kind of a thing?
So didn't she assign us all to this group because we picked Thursday?
I don't remember. I just started clicking on stuff because I've got like 6 classes that I have to meet for a certain amount of time. But Thursday works great for me. So.
Hey, Thursday is probably the best one for me too. Tuesday or Thursday. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are kind of crazy. So I really don't want to.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm pretty sure I was thinking that we did sign up because I know that I posted all of my Tuesday, Thursday times, so I just kind of assumed that's how it went. But I posted on our on the board this week just to see if people would post what times works for them, because I know that Hallie, I don't know how she says her name, she works until like 4:30, so we just need to find a time that works for everybody.
I'm good in the evenings, so I know someone was saying that they live in like the East Coast or something.
Yeah, so they're 2 hours ahead of you. I'm only 1 hour ahead of you, but we should, we'll figure it out, and I hope they post so we can hopefully get a time down, because if we have a set time, I think it'll be easier to make sure that we're there.
Here, yeah. Okay, that sounds good. We can do that. We'll talk about it on the discussion board.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Well, I'll get this posted in like the next 3 minutes then.
Okay, I'll write it up and get it as soon as I can.
Okay, thank you.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye.